Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most common and honestly most frustrating problems in the gym. You're putting in the work, you're hitting it hard, but your chest, it just won't grow. Sound familiar? Yeah, if you've ever felt that pain, then this one is definitely for you. This quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? For so many of us, it's practically sacred. It's International Chest Day. It's the day you walk into the gym, you're full of energy, you've got high hopes, and you are ready to build that bigger, stronger chest on the bench press. But then comes the hard part, right? Week after week, you push, you strain, you absolutely feel the burn. But when you go look in the mirror hoping to see those results, they're just not there. It's that classic problem where your effort just isn't matching the outcome. So, what is really going on here? Look, this struggle is incredibly common. So, if this is you, you are not alone. But the good news is it's almost always fixable. So, let's break down what's actually happening during that Monday mission and figure out why it might be failing. Okay, does this checklist right here look a little familiar? You finish your workout, your arms are totally fried, your shoulders are sore, but your chest, it feels like it barely did anything at all. This is like the classic sign that something is off. It means your supporting muscles are doing all the heavy lifting, and the main target, your chest, is kind of getting left behind. So, how do we fix this? Well, here's the trap. Our first instinct, the thing we naturally want to do, it's often the very thing holding us back. So let's break down the common mistakes pretty much all of us make when we're chasing that chest growth. Yeah, the first thought is almost always the same, right? I just need to lift heavier. I mean, the logic seems simple enough. More weight equals more muscle. But, and this is a big but, this way of thinking leads us straight into a massive trap that can literally stop your progress dead in its tracks. And this really highlights the core conflict. It's a battle between ego lifting and muscle activation. See, with ego lifting, all you're focused on is that number on the bar. Your form starts to break down, and suddenly your shoulders and your triceps are taking over the whole movement. But with muscle activation, the focus completely shifts. It's all about feeling the chest do the work. It forces you to ask a really important question. Are you just moving the weight, or is the muscle actually moving the weight? Huge difference. All right, so if it's not just about piling on more weight, maybe it's the exercise itself. This leads us right into the second big trap. This belief that the flat barbell bench press is the be-all and end-all, the one and only key to a big chest. But spoiler alert, the chest is way more complicated than that. And to really get why that's a problem, you've got to look at the chest itself. Your pec major isn't just one big flat slab of muscle. Nope. It's made of all these different fibers. Upper, middle, and lower, and they all run in different directions. So if you only ever do flat bench press, you're pretty much just hitting those middle fibers, leaving the top and bottom parts totally underdeveloped. So if you want to build a complete, well-rounded chest, you have to attack it from all different angles. This means you gotta incorporate some incline work to target that upper chest, which for a lot of people is a huge weak point. It means using stuff like dips for the lower chest and doing flies to really isolate the pecs and get a nice deep stretch. Variety isn't just for keeping things interesting, it's a fundamental requirement for getting that full development. Okay, so we spent some time on what not to do. Now let's flip this around and get to the real aha moments. What are the actual triggers that are going to unlock that chest growth? This is where the real progress is going to begin. Honestly, the single biggest game changer for most people is mastering this thing called the mind-muscle connection. I know, it might sound a little out there or abstract, but trust me, it's very, very real. It's the difference between just mindlessly pushing a weight from point A to point B and intentionally using your chest to contract and move that weight. It's a mental skill, and just like any skill, you have to practice it. And look, you can start developing it in your very next workout with this simple 3-step process. First, just slow the movement down. Seriously, control the weight on the way down. Second, I want you to really focus on the feeling of your chest fibers stretching at the bottom of the movement. And then third, at the very top, consciously squeeze your chest as hard as you can. Really feel that peak contraction. That's where the growth signal is sent. So, okay, our technique is getting dialed in.
Awesome. But what about frequency? You know, our gut instinct tells us that more is always better. So should we just start hammering our chest 3, maybe 4 times a week to speed things up?
The answer to that is a hard no. Absolutely not. See, the mistake is thinking that more time in the gym equals more growth. But the real solution? It's proper rest. You've heard it before, but it's true. Growth happens outside the gym. And the same thing goes for your fuel. Undereating is such a common mistake. You can't build a house without bricks, and you can't build muscle without enough protein and calories. It's that simple.
So, when you put all these pieces of the puzzle together, it really all comes down to a fundamental shift in your entire philosophy. It's all about lifting smarter, not just heavier. I mean, it really does represent a total shift. The old way? That's all about chasing the numbers on the bar. But the new, smarter way is about chasing perfect form, making sure you're hitting all the right angles, and actually prioritizing your recovery. It's a fundamental move away from quantity and towards quality.
So, if you take only one single thing away from this explainer today, please let it be this. The number written on the side of the dumbbell, it doesn't matter. What matters is the tension, the stretch, and the contraction that you are placing directly on the chest muscle itself. That's the whole game.
And let's end with a really powerful thought here. Sometimes the heaviest weight you can lift is your own impatience. Building a great physique takes time, and it takes intelligence. So my advice, ditch the ego, focus on these fundamentals we talked about, and just be patient. The growth will come. Thanks for tuning in.